Good morning and welcome to the turtlefollower.com, where we teach you how to stop predicting and start reacting. My name is Steve, and in this video we're going to take a look at the stock market for Saturday, February 6th, 2016. Haven't already heard, I'm going through a little bit of a cold here, so can't breathe out of my nose. So I'm probably going to make funny noises throughout the whole video. I apologize for that. But, you know, as a father, you just get everything that the kids have and then some. So the entire house is pretty much sick. And this is how we deal with it. So looking at the market, you can see that we're looking here at the S&P 500 futures. We've talked about this before, about the potential for consolidation and then a breakdown, all right, along this declining 50-day moving average. You can see here we have a key support area, 1852. All right, call it 1850. We've been testing that a couple times now. This will be the third, or we've tested it 3 times in the past year, really since August. It looks like, in my opinion, we're going down to test it once again. You will see, if for a very short-term trader perspective, that we did come into the Wednesday low. When there was some news that came out, you could see we basically came right into that level of 1864, 1865, and then kind of stopped. So maybe is that the low? I don't know. The way I'm looking at this from a short-term perspective is we broke this small little uptrend line. We broke that. I don't see any reason that we don't head lower. Okay. I don't see any reason that we don't at least test 1852 again. And if we do test 1852, well, then what happens? All right, I drew a chart the other day similar to this kind of idea, where we maybe go this way and then hit the trend line. And of course, I ran out of room on my chart, but and then maybe break down. All right, that is a key possibility where we would consolidate. All right, in that range. The other option is, you know, is this really the trend line that holds us, and we bounce around like this in a bear flag, hit the trend line and a 50-day moving average, and then break down. All right, all very good possibilities. Okay, now as far as if we look at the SPX, it's the same pattern. All right, this one instead though is already testing the lows. Okay, 1876, huge level on the S&P cash. Okay, not the futures, the cash, but again, you can see that same idea playing out, where we could potentially go sideways. This could come lower. All right, chop around and break down. Okay. All right. Nope. All right. Now, moving on. Nasdaq. All right. Nasdaq has already broken down. Okay, we had this little consolidation here for around 4,100. That broke. We came into this level here, 40.38. That broke. Next level is 39.72. If that breaks, big trouble. Okay, looking at the weekly chart on this, you could see that very much we are in this big giant consolidation. All right, but if I was looking at this as any other short setup versus you know, a stock or you know, whether it was stock or index, I would say this is a perfect short setup. Once we clear this 39.72 area, I would say it's a great setup, because now what's happening, we're breaking down from a weekly consolidation and then a daily consolidation along a downtrend line. All right, so again, not the best case scenario. All right, we'll look at the Nasdaq composite, and you can see again, this is the cash portion, and you can see again we've broken down already. Okay, and here's that consolidation. All right, so the only level on the cash portion that really is still in play is this 43.15 to 4,300. All right, that's a huge level. All right, we take that out. Again, not the best case scenario for the markets. Dow, All right, the Dow's actually was a little bit stronger than the rest of the markets this week. You can see it's actually trending higher, still kind of in this uptrend line. It hasn't broken down as much as the other indexes that we just looked at. All right, you can see it's still trying to hold this 1581 area. All right, 15,900. All right, but a lot of different factors at play here. You could see now 15,900, 16,700, and 15,700, and then 15,300. Those are the key levels you want to keep an eye on. But if the Dow is going to follow suit with the other markets, I would not be surprised to see that follow through to the downside. And finally, the Russell. We've talked about in the past. I mean, if this one breaks down, I think you can even short the IWM for a nice trade with a stop over the highs. All right, you can see it's just breaking down from a weekly consolidation. Then it'll be breaking down from a daily consolidation. If we look at the IWM, which is the ETF for that, you could see the same pattern in play. All right, so if you really wanted to, gain some, maybe hedge some of your long positions, or just add a short trade to your portfolio, you can see that the IWM is a very good potential setup there. All right, so not a lot of good things going on. The only sector that was actually outperforming and has been outperforming continues to be the utilities. All right, the utilities are at new highs. They're breaking out. These are usually defensive names. All right, a lot of people try to flock to these when things get a little rough, trying to still outperform the market, and outperform their typical savings account that you get absolutely nothing on. So people use the utilities so they gain the dividend, and then if they can get some price performance, then that's a great alternative to putting it in just cash. All right, so utilities have performed very well. What was performing very well and actually stopped this week was the staples. You can see it's not horrible, but the staples names have gotten hit. A lot of our names in the portfolio, excuse me, have gotten hit. So again, it's not the best situation considering where all these sectors are. I mean, we'll take a quick look through all of them. The Xlv, which is the materials. All right, so remember the other day I put out a post that said backwards day, and this was my point. All right, look at what's happening. All the stocks that are completely oversold are bouncing, and all the stocks that are being bought and were the leaders were being sold. And the reason for that, in my opinion, is a rotation out of ones that are working into ones that aren't working by short-term traders thinking that they can maybe catch the next wave higher in a lot of these names. All right, so you can see that the XLB, look, we're coming back into the bottom side of that 50-day moving average. The XLE, all right, really went sideways this week, not down. The XLF, all right, this was one that we added a couple names in for the portfolio. Hurt us a little bit. Some were outperforming, but one in particular got hit. I think it was down almost 4.5% on Friday. All right, the XLI, again, another name, a bunch of names that we are short come from the industrial sector, and you can see it actually moved higher this week. XLK sideways. All right, all of these do not demonstrate any type of strength in my opinion. All right, they're all going sideways. They're all looking like they're getting ready to roll over. That was the XLP, the XLU, which we went over, which I think is the strongest of the bunch, but that could change tomorrow. Who knows? Here you have the Xlv Healthcare, again, was trying to move higher, and now looks like maybe it's going to get ready to move lower. Again, you don't want to necessarily short an individual name, but you want to short the sector. Well, here you go. Here's your setup. It's breaking down. Your stop is up here around 63.50 or 68.50. All right, very simple setup. XLY, consumer discretionary, absolutely destroyed. Okay, and again, here's your setup. All of these look like potential shorts, and you could take probably each and every one of them if you wanted to. Obviously, I don't recommend that, but there you go, breaking down. All right, your stop's up here around 74.50. All right, take the trade to the downside, and as we said, the SPX, which is just continuing lower. All right, so the one trade that we did exit this week And I wanted to bring this up to you only because we took a loss on the trade. I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, I wish I could tell you differently. But the whole point of trend following is understanding what actually you're doing and what you're trying to do. And in my opinion, I'm no smarter than anybody else. I understand a chart a little bit. You can see that I get my words confused very often. But the one thing I do know is when I'm wrong, and I want to just get out. All right. So from my perspective, and what changed a lot for me as I got a little bit more into trading was I started to understand that it wasn't about the profit that I was going to make on the trade. It's more about what I'm risking on the trade. So obviously this one hurt because we were holding it, and you could see our stop level was 81.50. We held it through earnings because it was in my longer term accounts, and stock had still been moving higher, but we had already broken this downtrend line, so I was a little concerned going into earnings. But fact is, I've seen this nice rally, and I said, oh well, maybe we're going to hold this one, and then all of a sudden we're going to break out through $90. Obviously you can't game earnings, but as a long-term trader, I do like to hold through earnings because I don't want to trade around my positions. I just want to keep them on, and as long as they possibly can. So sure enough, HRS Harris had a earnings report, broke down, and because I use closing trades, I waited until the next day to exit. So that exit came around $77. All right, so all in all, I think it was a 1.5 R loss. So I lost about half as much money, or 1.5 times as much money as I originally intended. Okay, I trade small enough; it's not a huge deal, but it again, with the way the market reacted this week, it was just kind of all mixed in. But I want to point something out, and the reason I bring this up is because I did take the exit. I didn't say, oh, well, we came into this support area, so maybe we're going to hold, right? I could easily do this. Oh, here's a big support area, right? This should hold. And it did for a couple days. You could see it was the support for back in May and June, the resistance for September and August, right? Sure enough, came into that level. Looked like it was going to bounce. I thought, you know what, I'm probably getting out at the lows, but fact is, the reason for me being in this trade is over. All right, I'm wrong. I got out of the trade, and then sure enough, what happened on Friday? All right, we're even lower than where I exited. So that's just a little bit of an insight into what we do as trend followers, how we manage risk. So we're not going to get out at the perfect opportunity. It's just really about understanding what's happening in the market and letting the market, kind of tell us what is the right thing to do at the right time. All right, so that's why I say it's never about predicting, it's always about reacting. Obviously I was predicting that it was going to go up. I was hoping it was going to go up, but it didn't happen. Instead, I reacted to the price movement and I got out of my trade. All right, so there's going to be a lot of those that I'm going to go over with members today that we're going to probably look to take some exits on, probably look to flatten out a lot. And again, the one problem that we had this week was all the stocks that had been oversold that we were short were bouncing, and all the stocks that were overbought were being sold. All right, so we didn't really have any positive gains on any of our positions this week, and that really is what hurts us when you're long and short. From a core account perspective, we're long only, and we have a couple positions that we're going to look to exit. So if you want to join us, I encourage you to do so. You can go to turtlefollower.com /memberships. Sign up for a membership. You have a free 30-day trial if it's something you're interested in, and come join us in the members area. All right, other than that, have a great rest of the weekend, and members, will see you in your videos. Take care.